It's snapshot day, and what a snapshot it is, at least for the technical Minecraft community. As you can see here, I am currently riding a fishing bobber, and that is because in the newest Minecraft snapshot, they have added a /ride command. This command allows any entity to force ride any other entity except players. So what I can do, for example, is I can run ride @ mount, and I can ride the nearest polar bear to me, which is this. I can also just do ride dismount, and it stops me from riding it. This allows datapacks to do a lot of cool new things, including basically setting player motion. So that's pretty much how the ride command works. A couple of things to note: you can only ride one entity, so for example, if we have a limit of 2, it's not going to work because you can only ride one entity at a time. Also, the target has to be one entity, so you can't do, for example, ride at A, because that would specify more than one entity. You also can't force them to ride players. I'll leave the rest for you to experiment on your own. Now, they also added a new execute subcommand, which is execute on. So execute on has a bunch of different options, which allow you to execute as an entity with a certain relationship to you. So execute on attacker will be the last entity that attacked me. So let's just say I was the last entity to attack Gears. Now obviously nobody's attacked me so far, but if I go into survival and punch this polar bear, he attacked me, so then the polar bear says I was the last entity to attack Gears. You can also have leasher, so who's attached you on a leash. Owner, so that would be like the player who owns a cat or a dog, and most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Now there's also an execute subcommand, so if we do execute if, we now have execute if dimension and execute if loaded. Execute if biome was added in 1.19.3, but dimension is a very similar thing. So if we're in the overworld, well, then it's going to pass, but if we're in the end, well, no, it's not. We're not in the end. The other thing is if loaded, so that is if a certain position is loaded, we run a command. So obviously if I check if that position is loaded, then it says it's loaded, but if we check, for example, if negative 274,000 is loaded, then obviously it's not loaded. These two subcommands also work with execute unless, but that's pretty much it. Now, a feature that I think everyone's wanted for a long time is to be able to modify the limit of the fill command. If I, for example, go down here and I fill all the way to here with lava replacing water, it's going to tell me that the maximum area of fill limit is this number, but we gave it too much. Now, however, there is a game rule of command modification block limit. Those are the commands fill, clone, and the new fill biome. And if we set this to, for example, 50,000, now it works because the fill limit is different. And I'm not sure, there probably is some limit on it. This, like, if you just like type in, yeah. So the limit, it looks like, is 100 million, which, let's be honest, you're never going to really need to fill more than that. Now the last thing, which isn't too much of a big feature, but I was quite excited about, is the new data modify, and then we can set it to a string. So strings work similar to set from, and we're going to get whatever is the ID of our selected item. So now if we get what's in that storage, it has oak boat, as we would suspect. But now here's the cool bit. We can say that the start should be 2 and the end should be 7. So this will take the ID starting from the second character, while ignoring the first 2 characters, and going until the 7th one. So now if we get it, it just has Necra, which is part of Minecraft. You're probably not going to use this in any data packs with just modified gameplay features like custom items and stuff, but for more complex ones where you need to take some kind of user input, it's really useful because, for example, with my Fungecraft data pack, when I was inputting the strings, I could have used this to split the string up and only take the first character every time. Those are all of the command-based features they added in this snapshot. And that's most of the features at all. There aren't very many gameplay changes, but as a data packer, I think that these features are going to be super useful. And what it also means is that Mojang haven't completely forgotten about data packs and are actually working on making them better. One thing I think would be a cool feature that would make strings even more useful would be the ability to use the append, insert, and prepend data features on strings. So for example, append the value hello, but unfortunately that's not going to work because right now it only works for lists. I'm super interested to see what you guys come up with the new features. If you want to show me something that you've made with the new features, or just talk about Minecraft in general, join my Discord server. Now, I'd better get data packing.